This is a clip from
Chasing Love.
Check the description for the full episode.
I got in a car accident.
My boy, how was it?
Fucking awful. So, Boo, for context, because this might take a bit. Boo got me the 4K special edition of Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
This is going somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, what does this have to do with the head?
No, I really fucking love that movie. I love those movies so much, and it's his first time watching them. So I was like, I really want to watch it like best possible quality, like 4K, all that. I discovered that the original PS4 cannot read 4K Blu-rays.
The original PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it can't read 4K. It can't even
yeah, because the whole
do anything
4K push was the whole reason the Pro exists.
Yeah, it was the Pro. So I was like, fuck, I have a bunch of 4K DVD Blu-rays that I bought that we were gonna watch of like my shitty weird horror movies, and Boo was like, well, why don't we just go buy a 4K player? And I was like, oh yeah, let's do that. Dedicated 4K Blu-rays are fucking expensive, like $500, like insane amounts of money. So I was like, fuck that. I asked on our friend group, like, hey, does anybody have a good Blu-ray player? And somebody mentioned like, oh, get a used Xbox One. And I was like, oh shit, that's a great idea. Boo and I, like, we check on Canadian Craigslist and we find one 2 hours away in buttfuck nowhere. And we're like, dude, we'll make a road trip out of this. Like we were on break. Like we were on break for that week. So we were just like, let's fuck around, go over there, see if there's any restaurants, like stop by and see, like, I don't know. We're bored. We have nothing else to do. Let's do it. On the day of, we leave to go over there. We do the whole 2-hour drive. And when we get close to the destination, to the guy's place to pick up the Xbox One, Boo turns around, looks at me and says, I just checked the weather. There's going to be freezing rain, like torrential freezing rains.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this.
I just told him, like, dude, it's fine. Who cares? We're in a car anyways. Nothing bad's going to happen.
Nothing bad ever happens in cars unless you're sober.
Yeah. So when we get to the place, when we get to it's a really, like, there are like 5 houses and they're all separated by like big ass hills, and the houses are fucking massive there. We are in buttfuck nowhere, 2 hours away from where I live. There is nothing around us except these houses. I don't think I even saw like a fucking grocery store or anything. The city is like a city of 5,000 maybe. It's very small. We do not have service. There is no cell phone service. So I don't know which house it is. I remember him saying like brown house, blue house. So I was like, okay, so let's go to the blue. Let's go to the brown house. Let's go to the brown house. It seems like a big house. And it's like very pretty. Have you guys seen there's a Mike Flanagan movie called Hush?
Oh, fuck.
That movie fucking comes.
I don't think I have seen it, but I know about it.
For people listening, if you've seen the house from Hush, it looks exactly like that. Like,
oh, it's this guy.
Fucking,
yeah,
huge. It's the Haunting of Hill House guy. Huge windows on each side of the wall.
I just always get it confused with the Batman story.
So yeah, it's just a fucking huge ass window. And like, I can just see like this woman, Boo and I, okay, Boo is 6'9", I'm 5'6", and I have like painted nails, and I look like a fucking freak.
You look like a Saints Row custom character.
Yeah, exactly. I look like the problem with Saints Row video thumbnail, you know? Like, I just...
You look like a stock photo somebody would use for a video about Brie Larson.
Fuck you. Anyways, like, we look like freaks. I just knock on the door on like the glass door, because the thing is, the door is basically like just a big glass thing. That's the front door. I just knock on there.
Dude, French doors are weird.
This woman just shoots up and looks at us, and she looks fucking horrified to see people. And I mean, this is like a horror movie scenario, right? Like, we are in the woods. There is nobody else. She's like probably alone with her fucking daughter and dog. And she just points to us and says, like, shows like a hand, like 5 minutes. She leaves with the dog and the daughter. And then when she comes back, she comes back next to the door. She locks the door, puts her hand on the glass, and she says, "Can I help you?" And I was like, yeah, we're here for the Xbox." And then she just stares at us super confused, and she's like, "We don't have an Xbox. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, well, there's a Craigslist ad, and I think your husband might be the one selling it, because I talked to a man." And then she's like, "I'm sorry, you have the wrong person." And then she starts fucking laughing at me so hard. I felt so embarrassed, and I don't know why she laughed that hard. She just went like,
What?
She just
like
laughed.
the fucking witch and Smiling Friends.
I was like, she just started laughing, and I was just apologizing, like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to," because she looked so horrified at first. I got so confused. So anyways, wrong house. Go to the blue house. When we get to the blue house, I managed to somehow get I get some fucking some bars on my phone, and I just text the guy, and I'm like, "Hey, we're at your place right now." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm in traffic. I'm gonna be late." So I'm like, "Okay, guess we're gonna wait." So Boo and I just wait in the car. We talk about whatever. We're just hanging out.
I'm gonna be real, David. I thought this was gonna be like the ending of Shining, where the woman would just turn you and say, "But sir, you've always been here." And then fucking.
and then I'm the one behind the glass door,
And you're selling Boo.
Fuck. Dude, we're waiting there, and then we just see a couple of kids. We just see like a couple of kids like looking horrified towards us, just going home inside the blue house. And we don't mean to do it, but we don't realize it. We're just staring at these kids. We look like the creepiest motherfuckers. And then I just turned to Boo, and I'm like, should we just cancel on the guy? Should we really be doing this? Like, we look like fucking creeps. And we, like, as I'm thinking about leaving, he actually does get back home. And then he's like, we go in, he shows us that the Xbox is working and all that. And then he just, while he's giving us the Xbox and like the games that came with it and whatever, he just turns to his kid, points at him, and says, "So these guys are the reason why you called me all scared?" No, I was like, dude, why would you say that? I'm right here. Either way, we get the Xbox. The weird, creepy. We stop being like weird, creepy horror movie villains. We get back in the car, and we're like, let's just go home. This took like so long. It took like hours because of how much fucking around we did. So we were going back home, and that's when the ice rain starts.
Yeah.
I'm like, we are driving on buttfuck nowhere. We do not have any cell phone bars. It's around 5 p.m. and we're listening to the Encanto soundtrack.
Good soundtrack.
It is so vivid. It is a great soundtrack. It's so stuck in my head, everything that happened at this point. I just literally on the beat, dude. On the beat. We don't talk about Bruno, no. Bang! fucking hit.
Jesus.
It was my wedding day. Literally at that point, I just hear like, it was our wedding day. And I'm like, oh
Jesus.
no. I hit the fattest fucking hole. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh no, this cannot be happening. You are fucking kidding me. It is like outside, you cannot see anything. It is pouring rain, and as it falls, it becomes ice. That's how bad it is. Like, it is actually insane how bad our situation is. I look at Boo and I'm like, can you check it? Can you please check it? I don't want to check it. And then he's like, okay, dear, I'll go check it. He gets up, looks outside, and I can see his face like his face. He does this. He does a face that's like, ew. And I just know tire's fucked, completely fucked. He comes back in. He's like, we might need towing.
Yeah. Jesus, man.
I just look at him and I'm like, we are in a road where there is nothing. We are alone on this road. We are in the worst place possible for this. I wanted to cry so bad, dude. I was like, no way is this happening right now. This is the most expensive Xbox ever. And I just go out, I look at the tire and I'm like, oh my God. It is completely like on the floor. We get back in the car and I start like calling towing, just every towing possible. It takes us like so long to find a towing that will take us, because every towing at that hour is like they don't tow anymore. Like at that hour, people are gone. They don't have 24-hour towings at this like in this area because there's not enough people. So insanely lucky, there is one towing that is like, yeah, no, absolutely, we'll get you in like a few minutes. And I'm like, oh, thank fuck. Only thing is that we need to wait out. I need to wait outside of the car. Like, we need to wait outside of the car for the guy to get there because he doesn't know exactly where we are. So here we are, two stupid ass motherfuckers, two gay men in redneck country. Like, this area is, if you're gay in this area, you don't be gay in this area, you know? Don't do that. We're just sitting there like two stupid fucks. Boo has this thing where he doesn't bring a fucking coat anywhere during winter. And that it pisses me off all the time. He was fucking freezing outside, like in a t-shirt and shorts in like minus 20 degrees Celsius weather. Like, it was so fucking freezing cold and it was dropping. Like, my head was fucking full of ice. Like, it was so cold. Eventually the guy does come, and then we get into his car, his towing. He starts telling us our options. Every option is fucking horrendously bad, because he's like, okay, so every garage is closed, so you would have to come back for your car tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, are there any like I'm 2 hours away from home. Are there like, is there any hotel that we could maybe stay the night at? And he fucking laughs and he's like, dude, you know where you are. We don't have hotels here. Who the fuck wants to be here? And I was like, fair.
Tourist spot in Redneck County.
Redneck County. Like, fair. And then he's like, okay, you boys are fucked. I can tell you boys are fucked. Where do you live?
I thought he was about to say like, hey, you know what? You guys are cool. There's a hotel around the corner.
I was just fucking with, yeah. No, he was like, okay, where do you live? And then I tell him where I live, and he's like, that's 2 hours away, man. That's pretty far. And I was like, at this point, like, he was like, I can do it, but I'm going to have to upcharge you.
I mean, at that point, who gives a shit?
At that point, I'm like, dude, I can't, like, what else am I going to do? Like, there is literally nothing else we could have done at this point. So I'm like, bring us home 2 hours from here. Like, I'll take the fucking L. We'll take the
Yeah.
fucking L. We sit back into his car and he's like, okay. Oh, this is where shit goes hard.
He turns on the radio and it's the Encanto soundtrack.
No, worse, much
Oh.
worse. We sit down. He asked me like, "Oh, I'm gonna put your place on the GPS. Where do you live?" And I'm like, I live at so and so." And then he's like, "Okay."
Say it.
He's no. He opens his phone, and on his wallpaper,
It's a Confederate
I'm going
flag.
to-
It's a Confederate flag.
well, it's the French Canadian version of that.
Yep. There you go. Yep. I had a feeling.
He has a thing from it's a group called La Meute, which means the pack, and they're like a French Canadian nationalist group that are,
Go on. We get it.
yeah. He at that point I don't say anything. Boo doesn't understand what's happening. Boo is just like trying to put his hand around me, and I'm like, no, do not. I keep like taking his hand and like pushing it back, and then we stop by Tim Hortons, and I'm like, I tell Boo like he's a far right nationalist, but he's our only hope.
David halfway through the drive going, this guy's got some pretty good ideas.
That's like the poster for like a Pauly Shore action movie. That's the tagline.
That's like right before like the
I-
intro of an Always Sunny episode. The gang joins the far right.
He stormed the Capitol. Now he's storming
Dude,
our hearts.
I've never heard that much vile shit in my life. At first we were just talking like normal shit. We were like, I don't know, we were talking about like music, then we started talking about weed, and then this and then that, and then at one point he's like,
Please tell me he starts talking like the homophobic
it's so
dog.
vile. It's so vile.
Not too fond
It's
of gay
so
people.
It's like, it's genuinely some of the worst hate speech I've ever heard. I'm not going to repeat it fully, but he just says like, those blacks are so cheap, and I'm like,
Okay.
and that is the start to one of the most insane rants I've ever heard. And I was like I was in the weirdest position where I didn't know what to say because I'm not gonna confront him. I'm fucked already. I'm not gonna fuck
you're
myself
in his
over even
car.
harder. I'm in his car. He could I don't know what he's capable of. He's probably violent if he's part of a far right nationalist group. So I'm just like, I felt so uncomfortable the entire fucking time. I was like, what the fuck am I doing right now? And he drops the worst shit. And then he's like, he moves from that and then he starts talking about gay people and trans people. And I'm like, oh fuck. We need to keep him like, we need to make sure he doesn't find out because the shit he's saying is like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine as long as you don't like force it down his throat, like your agenda.
Yeah. My fucking agenda. My fucking agenda. Dude, he says the most vile shit during the whole time. I am sweating fucking bullets. And I'm like agreeing, like,
Oh my god, I'm
so true,
hoping,
bestie. And I'm just like, whoa.
I'm hoping he asked you guys what you do for a living, and he subbed to the podcast. Please.
No, I didn't. He asked what I did for a living, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a musician for hire." Haha.
Yeah, that works.
Which is kind of true, and it's kind of, And he was like, "Oh, cool. I was in a band once," and I was like, "Oh yeah." And then he was like, he was in a punk band, and I was like, "What? Oh god, he was a Nazi punk."
No,
he was a Nazi punk.
I was gonna say he's Nazi punk probably. Unfort.
No, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was a Nazi punk, and I was like, dude, this is a nightmare. We're like an hour. This is 30 minutes in. We're like an hour and 30 minutes away from home. It was a nightmare. Oh, dude, I've never been that uncomfortable in my entire fucking life.
I honestly don't know how you handled that. You handled that way better than I think I would have.
I was like sweating like crazy. I was drinking, like every time he would say something like really shitty, I would just sip my coffee and not say anything. I did not know what to say.
Did he not get like context clues that you guys were extremely uncomfortable?
I think he didn't care.
Oh, fair enough.
Also, well, Boo didn't understand because he was talking in French and Boo doesn't speak French.
Oh, okay.
So
that's
Boo had
why,
no
that's
idea
why
how-
Boo was
no.
like, yo, David,
Boo-
what's going on, my boyfriend?
Yeah, no, he was like, why is my boy like at the end? We get out of his car at the end. We're at a garage and like he just the dude just drives back home or whatever. And then Boo was like, why were you not like what was up? And I was like, you have no idea. I just explained to him everything that happened and he was like, what the fuck?
Undercover
Dude.
racist.
Oh my god.
David, you should have offered him some of your water.
I could not
Drink this, it'll change your mind.
Oh, yeah, in 5 minutes, like 5 minutes before we're at the garage, he just says, I don't fucking believe in vaccines.
Dude, why
Give
was
you
he
autism.
he just
and
gave
I
you
was
the
like,
entire
no
check?
fucking way. Yeah, he gave me the entire, like, we're 5 minutes away, and he's like, I don't fucking believe in vaccines. If I get it, I get it. And even then, it's just a fucking cult. And he's
Love
like,
that.
what? Like, I've been riding with you. Like, I've been riding at, like, right next to you the entire time. And you're just dropping this on me, you motherfucker. What the hell?
Did you get his number?
Well, I have the number of his dump.
Dumpy?
Dump? Of his, I have the number of his fucking towing.
I want to see if I can date his daughter.
And David, when Corbin mentioned
she's
your
a-
water and you started talking about it took 5 minutes, I thought you offered him your water and said, drink this. It'll take 5 minutes for you to be gay.
No, I didn't have water. I had coffee. Dude, what the fuck, man? What an experience. What an awful fucking night I had. That day was like one of the worst days of my fucking life. It was horrifying to be next to somebody that horrible.
I wonder how my friends feel.
Dude,